I'm going to wait a minute or two just to let the people sort of dribble in. The platform kind of slowly lets them in one at a time, so it takes a few minutes to get properly started. But Adam's made the right start. He has located the chat box, which should be on the right-hand side of your screen if your UI is the same as mine, which I presume it is. And it would be nice if you wanted to, just whilst we wait, go and put your name in there, or rather tell us where you're from and say hi or something like that. So I'll begin that process again. So I'm Nathan Wrigley, and I'm from the UK. There we go. So now you can see that. So I'll just explain how this webinar platform begins, because the machinations of it, I suppose, are quite important. We're going to be here for the next hour or so. The way it works is if you go to the top right-hand side, you should see by default in a darker font will be the word chat. And that's where you just put your sort of comments to each other. You can @ people, so you can find their name with the @ symbol, and it should pre-populate things for you. Next to it is Q&A. So what I would ask is, if you've got a specific actual question, not just some sort of general chat, then please click the Q&A tab, and then it will become a question which I can then mark as answered as and when. So that would be great. That would be really nice. And so just a couple of things from me before we begin properly. Hopefully you can see my screen. We have a podcast. WP Builds is basically a podcast. We're on episode 140. Actually, this will have changed if I quickly refresh the page, because there was a scheduled post due to go. Yeah, there you go. You see, we're now on episode 145. But we also do things like webinars and giveaways and things like that. But probably the thing that's going to be of most interest to you during this webinar is that Andre has very kindly given us the option to redeem a 25% off coupon code. Actually, it's not really a coupon code. What you do is you go to wpbuilds.com/deals. And if that wasn't big enough for you, ta-da, there it is. wpbuilds.com/deals. And you'll be taken over to this page. And if you click on this button, it will automatically go to his page. And then if you try to purchase anything, you'll be able to see that it's kind of auto-redeemed it. So it's added this coupon code of 25%, which might be nice. I always think it's a bit silly holding those offers back till the very end. Might as well explain them right at the very beginning. So, okay, without further ado, you don't want to listen to me rabbiting on. It would be far nicer if we actually got to talk to Andre. So I'm going to pause my screen. Hopefully that'll put Andre up. Could you guys do me a favor? Whoops, my screen has come back on. Let's take that away permanently. Could you guys do me a favor? Would you be able to say, firstly, whether or not you can hear me? And secondly, whether or not you can see both Andre and I. He's now shared his screen. And hopefully you'll be able to see us and hear us and whatnot. So, hi, Andre, how are you doing?
Hi. Well, yeah, let me know if you can hear me too. I'm here too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can hear you. Andre, what time is it where you are?
It's about 7 a.m.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's I have a young child, so I was up anyway.
Okay, that's not so good. Bad. Adam says you can hear and so on and so forth. So yes, awesome. One more very quick thing, which is about the platform itself. Because the entire thing is browser-based, everything, even on our end, is happening in the browser. There's no application installed on our PCs or Macs or anything. The simplest thing to do if something goes wrong is just to click refresh. Don't alter or amend the URL in any way, because then you won't be able to get back in. Just click the refresh button, and hopefully that restores 99% of the problems. So I'm going to shut up now and hand over to Andre and get him to introduce himself and talk about Project Huddle for the next 40 minutes or so, and then we'll do Q&As at the end.
Thanks, Nathan. Before I started, want to just give a shout out to WP Builds. If you guys are part of the group or you're thinking about joining, it's an awesome group to join. And honestly, they help a lot of like a smaller developers and things get our products out there, and just really nice group of people. So
thank you.
Be sure to check that out. Yep.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Thanks a million.
So I'm Andre. I'm the founder of Project Huddle. The reason I want to do this webinar is First, for current Project Huddle users who might want to get a little more out of Project Huddle, and we'll also go over some unreleased features so you can get like a preview of what's coming, which is kind of neat. And also for people who maybe have never used it before or don't know what it is and just kind of want like a basic overview without, doing all the reading and research and stuff. So first, the reason I created Project Huddle, I used to run a freelance business. I found, I'd say about 99% of my clients were remote. So even if we were in the same city, we would do design reviews and stuff via computer remotely. And when I first started out, I used email to do that, and that was sort of the absolute worst. Especially if you have like multiple clients or maybe a team. Email is really bad for a couple reasons. There's no visibility, so things can fall through the cracks. You've all had the client that sends like a monster email that you have to kind of sift through. And there's no context, so you're asking your clients to describe changes and doing too much work. It's kind of like a game of 20 questions. So then I tried some other software solutions similar to Project Huddle. Envision is a great one that works great for designs, but I didn't have anything for development after launch. I found some great tools for development and launch, but nothing during the design phase. But a lot of these solutions out there are really expensive, not flexible, and honestly, a lot of them were just super hard for clients to use. They either need another login, visit a dashboard, or remember some crazy unique link that they'd have to visit each time, which they would lose, and then they would just revert back to email, which is kind of what I wanted to avoid. I don't know if anyone else has tried to get a client on like a project management tool, but I would say, most of my clients would just end up using email again because they didn't want to spend time figuring out another piece of software. So I made Project Huddle. It's for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like digital sticky notes on websites and designs. We wanted to make it easy, so it's tightly integrated into WordPress, so it's super easy for clients to use. If they're logged onto their own WordPress site, they can use it.
Andre, I'm going to introduce you. We're seeing ourselves, if you know what I mean, in the.
Oh, sure.
You might want to just reduce or minimize that one, or anything. That's great. That's wonderful. Thanks.
Didn't want to see yourself anymore?
Well, no, just somebody saying I'm seeing double, and I was thinking, what? Oh, yeah, that'll be it. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Then we want to make things visible so nothing falls through the cracks. Contextual, so we can see what a client is referring to. We don't have to play 20 questions. We want to make it affordable, since it's not like a hosted SaaS solution. We don't have to pay for hosting all of our customers, so we can make it a lot less expensive and then customizable. But let's get to the demo. Since I know this is WP Builds, a lot of you are WordPress people, I'm going to focus more on the website features of Project Huddle. So let me just run quickly through how you get started and add your first client's website. So the first thing, you want to make sure you have Project Huddle plugin installed, and you would install this on your own site or like a dedicated site that you set up just for Project Huddle. So Project Huddle is like a central dashboard. And once you install it, you can connect all of your client sites. This makes it really easy to see everything that's happening throughout your freelance business, your agency on one dashboard. So let me show you what it's like to add a new client site. So I'm going to go to this new website menu. I'll give the project a name. You probably would have something more descriptive than client site. I set up just a demo site for a client. Enter the URL and I'll hit next. And then it's going to ask me, what type of website is it? So this particular website is a WordPress website, but I could use Project Huddle on any type of website. So I could use it on something like another CMS like Drupal or Craft. I could use it on a hosted solution like Webflow, Wix, or Squarespace, e-commerce platforms, pretty much anything. But I'm going to show you guys the WordPress side of things, since I think a lot of your clients might already be on WordPress. So it's going to ask me the username and password for my client's site. I'm just going to enter that. And I hit that connect button. And it's just going to prompt me to install this client site plugin that makes the connection between my dashboard site and my client site. I'll click install now and activate it. And then it's going to ask me who should comment. So I can click whitelist user roles of on my client site that I want to allow to comment. This is handy if you just want to show this comment interface for only your client, maybe not other people like an SEO manager. I can allow guests to comment. This is a nice feature. So if you have a website on a staging domain or something and you don't want to bother with user accounts at all, and we can comment on the admin. Just a lot of people use this for leaving like little helpful hints around the admin, or letting a client ask something specifically about the UI or maybe a post they're creating. So this looks good. I'm gonna just close out this window. It's gonna make the connection, and that's it. My site's connected. So now if I visit the website.
So just to be clear, whilst what you just did was installed it on the client site, that little modal pop-up was actually putting the child plugin, if you like, into their install of WordPress.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it's basically just walking you through that process. You could do that manually. Go to your client site. It's a free plugin. The client site plugin's free on the WordPress repository. So
okay,
you could do it that way, but this just makes it so you could do it all from one screen. And now you'll notice I have this cool little widget in the corner, which lets me, leave comments on different parts of the site. So let's take a look at this kind of from the client's perspective. So I think that's kind of the most important part, is how it looks and feels for the client and how easy it is to use for them. So let me just open up a new incognito window. And you can see by default, for general site visitors, nothing shows up because you don't have guest commenting enabled. So if I'm a client and I have an account, I can just log in. And you can see I'm logged in as Marilyn Lawson. I get this nice little welcome message that explains how Project Huddle works quickly. And I can just start commenting. I don't need to visit, a PM tool or anything else. I can just sort of comment as myself. It's super nice because you're not asking clients to do anything different. If they already have, WordPress accounts, then they just need to keep doing what they're doing.
So you're actually able to make comments in the admin area as well, not just the front end of the site. Yeah, that's fascinating. Exactly, yep. Okay. So let me just real quickly. There's with each comment, there's sort of all these cool technical details too that you can see. So you can see the browser and version. You can see things like resolution, operating system, and then it takes this automatic screenshot. And showing exactly what was clicked on the page. So that's really nice because, again, you're not asking clients to do anything different, but then you still have the information that you need. So if something changes in the site, let's say you're editing things and moving things around, you can see what it was originally and how it looked on their screen. Is that rectangle that was drawn in purple in the screenshot, is that just sort of honing in on the, the parent element of the... So there, perfect.
Yep, exactly.
It's honing in on the parent element of the object that was clicked and sort of making an educated guess as to what it was and how big it was and so on, right?
Exactly. So it's going to highlight exactly what was clicked. So if you see
perfect, lovely, got it.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
So there's no guessing. You're seeing a screenshot and the element that they're referring to. So I think it's super cool. Anyway. So I just want to show you one other way to give access to clients that's, I think some people don't give their clients access to their admin, which is okay. We have an alternative way to give access called an access link. So this doesn't require, if your clients don't have an account on their own site and you still want to let them comment, you can just give them this access link. And once they visit it, they're sort of whitelisted to leave comments, and this interface will load whether they're logged in or not. So you can see I'm not logged in. Now I can start to leave comments as a client. And it's just going to prompt them for a name and email when they submit. This is nice too for sort of that use case, or if you're using something that's not WordPress as well.
Yeah, that's really useful. Can they presumably they can that URL be shared an infinite number of times, and does it sort of have session cookies and things so it knows to reprompt for an email address and so on? Or
yeah, so you can exactly, you can share the link as many times with as many people as you want to give access.
Yep.
And so now that I've visited, it's going to cancel that comment. Now that I'm visited, if I go to like a different page, you can see it's still loading even though I'm not, the access link. So it's sort of cookied the person's browser and whitelisted this person to leave comments.
So if then that link was shared by the recipient, so it was shared with their team, say, each time they log in, would it kind of assume that was then the original person, or would it ask for another email address and so on?
It would ask for another email address.
Oh, perfect.
So everything's specific. Yeah, everything's specific to the person's browser.
Okay.
So if somebody, a different computer, different browser, it's going to ask them for it's going to ask them for a name and email. So,
Great. Thank you.
So it's not just one guess. Yep. But let me just go back here, show you a little bit more about some of these cool front-end features. You'll notice there's some different controls on here that allow you to manage the project from the front end. So I can do things like resolve issues by clicking this resolve button, and then you can kind of see there's a little paper trail to see who resolved and when. I can assign people in my team or a client, for instance. Like I can assign this to a client if I need them to follow up with me on something. There's a cool new feature that isn't released yet, but will be coming next week. And it's a mentions feature. So I can actually, if I don't want to assign someone, I can just mention my client in the email, and they will get an email with a link that goes right to the comment. So let me just mention my client. So I can see, let me just pull up the email. When you mention or assign somebody or comment, they'll get this cool branded email with your logo or brand colors, and then a link to view the comment. So if I click this as the client, it's going to bring me directly to that comment so I can start, continue the conversation. I really like doing this kind of stuff on email because everybody's really comfortable with email, and then it brings them back into the system in a really easy way. They don't need to log in, and again, they don't need to do anything else. They can just go and visit this comment and continue the conversation. Nice and easy. And then you can also control, who gets notified. So if I want, for new comments, if I want the client to get notified, I can add them there. And then you can also see there's another button in this widget that shows sort of all the comments on the page. So I don't like hunting through a page to see where all the comments were left. This kind of organizes it in a nice little list. So if I needed to see a specific comment, I could just click view and it would bring me right there. Of course, you have all the relevant information you need here, a screenshot. You can assign people, see replies, etc. You can also sort by, who's assigned, if anything's assigned to me or unassigned. And you can also show resolved text. So if something is resolved, it disappears out of view, which is cool because you can kind of get it out of the way. But if you want to get that back, you can do that too. There's also a Pages tab, which shows you at a glance kind of what's happening on all the pages in this site. So you can see if there are any comments resolved, how many comments are left on each page, and a link to visit the page so you can sort of see what's going on. That's sort of like a basic overview of the front end. Kind of want to show you guys a new feature. Sort of like if you have a bunch of different websites, a bunch of different clients, you kind of need one central location to manage things. So we have this new task dashboard that's launching. It's going to keep track of all the conversations, all the tasks that are happening throughout all your projects. And I like to think of it as kind of like God mode for your project. You can kind of like, I don't know if anyone's a Star Trek fan, but I kind of envision like, when you talk to the computer on Star Trek, it's like, show me all projects, people on this project that are assigned to this, etc. So you can kind of like do these complex queries and things to drill down and find exactly what you want. So for an example, this is going to show all the tasks by default, so I can see just in the order of date of when they were left, but I could just filter it by a specific project. So I could do this most recent one that we did here. And then maybe additionally, I want to see only things reported by a specific person. I could do that. Or I could do something that was assigned to me or another person, or maybe just unassigned things that I want to assign. I can do that as well. And then if you're forgetful like me, like a lot of times I'll remember, oh yeah, there was somebody that talked about something, had the word test in it. I can't remember what the comment was. Well, I can just search and I'll bring up all the comments with the word test in it, and I can say, oh, okay, here it was, I found it. So I really like that too. Yeah, there's also some cool like bulk editing features. So if I want, like a use case is, I want to just see all the unassigned tasks and make sure I can assign people. So I can look through, I can click these little check marks and I can assign specific people. So I want Roger to handle these. I can just assign them, and I don't have to go into each individual task. You can also, bulk edit and delete too. And then if you want to make comments and do other things, if you click on one of these, it'll sort of open it up into this side panel. We can do everything you can do on the front end. So you can leave replies. Let me just bring up one that we did recently so you can see. So you can leave replies, mention people, and then the screenshots attached here too. So you don't necessarily even have to go to the site. You can kind of just see all the information you need, all that cool technical information, etc. And then there's one last thing I just want to show you on this page. There's some awesome sorting features too. So I could, by default, it's going to sort by date. You can see the newest stuff first. But if you want to see like the oldest stuff, you could do that. Or if you want to just group things by who's assigned, you can do that too. So just by clicking on these little filter icons, like I want to see things, let's say with the most comments, the least comments, I can do that on these comment tasks. So you kind of like filter, sort, and kind of like create the views you want. One other thing I want to show you on this dashboard is this activity area. I like this as like a great way to sort of catch up on things. So this is going to show you not just the tasks, but all activity that's happened. So if somebody resolves a conversation or approves something, we have approvals on our mockups. You can kind of see all that stuff, and it's going to show you, everything that happened in time and when it happened. So you can kind of click through and or take action right here if you wanted to leave a reply. But like a great use case for this is like over the weekend, what happened, or I was on vacation yesterday, what happened? So I can kind of just see, okay, let's see what happened yesterday. This is all the stuff that happened yesterday, so I can see everything that happened and get caught up. Or I could see, I was on vacation last week. Let's look at last week. And maybe I don't want to see necessarily everything. I just want to see approvals from last week. I can do that too and see what was approved. So that's sort of another way of looking at things, more of like a timeline view. Mm-hmm. And then I'll just jump over this website. So I'll briefly touch on mockups, but on this websites tab gives you like a overview, a bird's eye view of like all the different website projects. So I can see how many conversations and how many were resolved and the completion status. And then I can click through, and it's going to show me, each page, and I can see individual comments and which is resolved, and click through there too. So this is more of a focus on just overall projects versus individual tasks. And the same goes for mockups, which is a similar interface. So it's going to show me all the mockup projects. So here's one that was created in Sketch, and it's very similar. So I can see here's the mockup page. I can see if there's any comments, any resolved comments, just at a glance.
Hang on, go. I think we need to delve into this more deeply. So that's
Sure.
That's a sketch file, or is it like a PDF or something?
That's a sketch file. Well, so we have a sketch plugin. I don't know if anyone's interested in the mockup side. I can kind of go over that briefly.
Yeah, if you don't mind. So this is
Sure.
totally away from WordPress. This is like the design phase. This is just assets. So you can actually comment on sketch files and PDFs and things, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So we have a plugin, a Sketch Sync plugin. So you install it on your on Sketch and connect to your site, and you can click a sync button, and it syncs up your sketch files. So maybe I'll just pull that one up and just show you kind of.
Yeah.
So these were actually sketch files. Let me pull up versions so you can see. Oh, actually, I'll do this other one. So as I'm creating things in Sketch, I can click the sync button, and it's every time I sync and make changes, it's going to store a new version. So originally on May 30th, this is what web page looked like. It had this sort of blue background, and then as I went through time, I could see all the changes. Now it's got a green background, right? And I can even go back in time and sort of restore a point if I wanted to go back to maybe that blue background at any given time.
So apart from the timeline view, how does that look from a sort of client point of view? Are they able to log in, access those sketch mockups, and in the same way that you had the little selector, the cursor that they could drag along and say this point on the website, can they do the same thing over there, sort of highlight an image, for example, or say this bit of text needs to be? Yeah. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. So we have a sort of a different interface for mockups. It has a lot of these controls, so they can, if they visit like a mockup page, it's very similar access to like the website. So you can either require them to have a login, or just send them an access link, or just anybody who visits the link can view and see comments. So if I sent this to my client as a mockup project, they would immediately be able to just leave comments on here.
Got it. I see. That's what I wanted to see. Okay.
Yep. Wow. And then you can enable sort of approvals too. So if you want to approve specific things and a client clicks on this, you can add your own terms, like a click wrap agreement or something, and approve individual images. And it gives you this cool paper trail too, so you can see what was approved and when and by who. And you can have multiple, any number of images on here. It also supports multi-page PDFs. So if you have like a PDF file, you can upload it to here, and it'll turn each PDF page into its own image. And then, of course, Sketch Sync. So this is a Sketch project. I don't have Sketch open now, but I made this in Sketch and just clicked Sync, and it's syncs everything up nice and neat with your project.
So just to be clear, you can do PDFs, sketch files, and any other formats that you can put in there? Or?
Yeah, anything that's an image. So
okay.
Anything that WordPress supports. So if you could do, PNGs, GIF images, or maybe GIF. Is it GIF or GIF?
I saw somebody made a YouTube video the other day just sort of saying, I have no idea. So he's now going to call them GIFs.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, those things anyway. Spelled GIF. Okay, that's great. All right. I did not realize that was as comprehensive as that. That's amazing.
Cool. So I don't know if anyone's interested, I could keep going with mockups.
Should we just take a quick shout out? Would anybody like him to carry on with the mockup section? maybe just a quick yes. I know people deploy this strategy in webinars to try and get people on board. I'm not doing it for that reason. I just want to know if you should keep talking about mock-ups.
There's sort of a lot to cover, and I don't want to.
Should we give it? Shall
people?
I say? Okay, so like 4 yeses came through.
Okay,
and
cool.
Yeah, lots of yeses actually. Okay, all right, stop with the yeses. I shouldn't have said anything. Yes, please. Shall I time you out after about 5 minutes, something like that?
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, right.
So you can see the interface is very similar. You have all the same controls I mentioned, mentioning, signing, resolving. And there's even this comment panel, which has a lot of those same features too. So if I go to each page has its own comments, and I can get a overview of all the images, as well as like sort by like something that's approved or all images, and see them that way too. And then you can see, if I go back to the back end, let me just do that quick. These are also collected on that dashboard as well. So no project is left behind, mock-up or not. So I can see this is one I just made on that sketch test project. So I could filter, if I look at my projects list and see there's just sketch test, and I can see it's a mock-up. So I could do that and just see only that task. And of course, it's going to show you a screenshot as well. I don't know if you can see this, but it shows like a little thumbnail, and it also shows where the comment point was too. So you can see without clicking through what they're referring to on the design.
Nice.
But of course, there's no browser information needed here, so we don't collect that. So, not sure. Would you all like to see maybe like a PDF?
Yeah, go on. You've got another 3 minutes of your 5-minute schedule. And in reply to guest 402, we're going to do the Q&A at the end. So in a little while, I've stored them all elsewhere, and I'll get Andre to answer the questions later. Thanks.
Okay, let's see if I can find a PDF. It's not going to take too long. Multi-page one, at least. Let me try this one. So I can, when I insert a PDF, I can sort of select the initial width. So if I have like a width constraints, as well as like how it's going to behave when they see it. So if it's a web page, probably want it to be centered. But if you're designing a page that's maybe like aligned to the left or the right, you could do that too. I don't want this one to scale necessarily because it's a website. I don't want them to see it really tiny on like a mobile device. But I could select it if I wanted that to scale, and I can choose things like background color, maybe upload a background image and choose that behavior too. So then I'll just click Insert PDF. It just gave me a warning that it was pretty large. So we support any number of amount of pages in a PDF, but of course, if it's like 100 pages, it's going to be kind of huge. So that's why I was just warning you that it's going to take a while for things to render for the first time. But I can see now it's rendering everything in the PDF, and then if I go back to the top and hit publish, we'll see if it publishes. But I title, maybe I gotta give it a title. Of course, Flywheel was not working for me this morning either. So
you're on local, are you? Yeah, maybe it's. Nope. But that is one PDF. We're just seeing a representation of each of the pages.
Yes, exactly.
This isn't a repository of multiple PDFs. It's just one showing you a thumbnail of each of the individual pages. Got it.
Exactly. So it's one PDF, multiple pages, and I think it's taking a long time to save because I think there's like 200 pages in this, which I think is probably
a great one.
Yeah, maybe I should have done something else. I think it's unrealistic to think a client would approve 200 pages of really graphically intense document.
You've ground your machine to a halt. Shall I move on to a couple of quick questions if you want to let that one sort of sit in the background? Okay, I'm just going to take them in the order in which they came. So they came in the order probably of the what you said. So we'll have to probably go back earlier in the webinar. So the first one, guest 402, who I think might be Alex, but I'm not entirely sure. It says, when you enable guests can comment, what does it look like when you do not require the name and email? Not entirely sure what, let me just see, is that Alex? Don't know, but I'm not really sure what that question is asking. When you enable guests and they can comment, what does it look like when you do not require the name and email? I think you do require the name and email for them.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's not something that we prompt them to right away. It's only when they make an action. So once they submit their first comment or try and approve something or whatever, it's just going to prompt them for their name and email.
Got it.
And what's great is it remembers them then for 30 days or until they close their browser out. So they only have to do that like one time. We do require that because I think it's really important to have an identity for things, especially when you're talking about like, approvals and communication and resolving. We've tested before not requiring anything, and clients would just leave comments and then just never go back, never visit again, never use it. I think it's so important to have that email component, sort of bring them back into the conversation. So that's why we require that email portion.
Okay. That looks like it's published. So should we suspend the questions for a minute? I'll stop you in 5 or 6 minutes because we've now got a whole raft of questions. So it might be good to pause and take those questions if that's all right, Andre.
Sure, we can pause.
Yeah. I'll go for it now. You carry on with your PDF.
Oh, for now. Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
Sorry.
So I guess it's sort of what you expected. There's you can see all the pages in the PDF. So I think this one has quite a few. And then you can approve individual pages. So I can approve just this image, or if I click this, I can also approve. So there's 100, the other 99 images too at the same time. If I just want to approve the whole project. And then there's what's really nice about PDFs is if I zoom in, it's going to sort of like re-render things and make them nice and clear. You can zoom out to it, and a lot of this stuff you can customize. So if you don't want people to zoom in, or if you want somebody to you don't want them to approve, or maybe once they approve something, you don't want them to unapprove it. And that's sort of the magic of something self-hosted and customizable. You can sort of change all those options.
Okay.
That's sort of the basic gist. There's this share project that just makes it easy to share things, and this will send an email to your system. So this would be a way to give client access to the project if you'd like. But maybe let me just see if I miss anything on the back end.
Okay. My comment would be I'm in awe of the way it looks as much as anything else. I think that kind of gets left behind. You've obviously dedicated quite a lot of time to making the UI really consistent and, in my opinion, really, really nice looking. It's a joy to look at it. And I think if a client was to sort of see this out of the box, and get this impression, it's making a really fine impression, I think, of your business. Everything just looks super professional and super slick. So just congratulations just from the way it looks.
Yeah, well, I think that's important. It's Project Huddle's, we call it like a white label solution. So it's it's got your branding, it's on your domain, and it's got your logos on it. It better look good, right? We don't want to make you look like an amateur.
Yeah.
So I think that part is super important. It's just being, looking professional, and then, at the same time, making sure your clients will use the tool. If it's something that's professional and easy to use, they're going to use it. So.
Travis Haylett says he agrees, so that's nice. Shall I crack on with the Q&A then? Just
let's do that.
If you have a question that you'd like to ask Andre, you'll notice in the panel where you've been submitting chat text, there's a Q&A button right next to the chat button. So if you pop things in there, that just makes it slightly easier for me to keep a go on. Now, so this question, Meredith, I think this was posted at the moment where you were installing the child site plugin automatically with that modal pop-up. And she's asking, is that a new thing, or is that like is it new basically?
Yeah, it's new. So that was maybe about a month old. So
okay.
Previously, there's like a little snippet that you have to add to your client site, and this client site plugin makes it a lot easier for clients because it uses their own login information, and then at the same time it makes it easier for you because you don't need to add any code snippets or anything. You just need to install the plugin, and it does everything for you.
Yeah. Okay, so that answers that one. So guest 402, who I think might be Alex, but I'm not sure. When you create a new mockup or new website connection, is there a way to have set instructions created by the admin that can be in different colors? Example, we create a wireframe and want to make notes that are visible on the mockup or on the website page, but we don't want the client to be able to resolve or delete those. That's a very complicated question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we don't have that yet. On our roadmap, we have we want to do some kind of like internal commenting. So the comments just for your team and clients wouldn't see those. But I haven't heard that sort of like a comment that somebody couldn't comment to or couldn't resolve. Is that kind of what? I think that's kind of what the question's asking.
We create a wireframe and want to make notes that are visible on the mockup or on the website page, but we don't want. So I think he's sort of saying, can you add your own comments that the client can see but can't interfere with?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work like that out of the box.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've never been asked that before. It's kind of interesting.
Okay. Well, guess
not to say you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Not to say you can do it. That's sort of the magic of WordPress, right? You can modify things if you like.
Yeah. I suppose the answer, the question kind of is there a UI element which, when the client logs in, indicates that you as the designer, the developer, have done something so that they can see there's something to open. So instead of it being that kind of bluishy purpley thing, maybe a red or a green one that shows, okay, I have, since we were last here, I've fiddled with something. Please go and take a look at what I fiddled with.
So we have some cool shortcodes that we use that are available for it sort of duplicates that a little bit of that dashboard that I showed you, but just a simplified version. So it doesn't give them that God mode tasks dashboard, but it does give them like activity, and then so that the cool part is they'll only see like projects that they're members of. So like, because I'm logged in as me, the admin, I can see all projects, but like if it was their site, they could just click through and just see their site and things that are happening on their site. So it does give them like a timeline of things that are happening, as well as like progress of each page. It's kind of nice because they can kind of see exactly how much stuff they're asking at any given time, and it makes it easy when you go to billing. Everything's sort of transparent. But I would say, like, more importantly, they just get email notifications when things happen, so that I think, at least in my experience, some clients will go to the dashboard and use this stuff, but I would say most of them wouldn't. Most of them are so comfortable in email. So we really wanted to focus on that email portion and just to bring them back.
Okay.
But we do have this option too for people that I think are more tech savvy.
Okay, so whoever that was that posted that comment, my guess would be, if you feel that's really important, maybe get in touch with Andre individually from the Project Huddle website, and maybe add that as a sort of feature request and pad out what it exactly was that you were thinking. Sorry,
Absolutely.
We haven't answered that question perfectly. All right, guest 409 says, so they can use their normal login versus make a new login in the user area, I think.
Yep, that's correct. So they have a login to their own site. That's all I need. They just need to log in and they're good to go.
Log into your own site, you're done, basically.
Yep.
Okay, well, guest 402, I can't keep a track of these. I shouldn't have enabled the guest enter as a get. That was silly. That was a box that I forgot to tick.
See what I mean about asking for name and email?
Yeah, lesson learned. For websites, I don't see many options in WP Admin like you do on the mockups page. Is there a reason that the websites are limited with less options?
I don't think they are. I'm not sure if I understand that one, but let me just pull up that page and show me.
I don't see so he's talking about websites. For websites, I don't see many options in WP Admin like you do for the mockups page.
Sure.
Is there a reason that the websites are limited with less options?
I'm not sure what specific options, but I mean they're similar. So there's like, since we have the client site plugin connected, everything is kind of controlled on the client site as far as like options and access. So if I go to settings feedback, this is sort of how we control access here versus on a mockup page, since it's all on our site. Maybe I'll open up a smaller one. You can see there's like options at the bottom, like and they're more having to do with stuff specific to mockups, like image scaling, letting them download images, and adding zoom controls, approvals and unapprovals, and things like that. So
yeah, I'm not. We're getting comments like, so okay, mockups are. It keeps jumping around. There are more options on the page versus the website sections, and then somebody else chimed in, Shade, saying he means the admin left-hand side options. So there's some menu items that are not visible on the client's dashboard. I'm kind of getting lost in this question, to be honest. So I might, sadly, although the purpose of this Q&A is to assist you, I'm not sure that, unless the fresh question could be rephrased in some way, I'm gonna pass that one by and come back to it if you type me a nice long version of it. Okay, so Shade asks, do they have to use the link the next time they want to log in, i.e. the next day? So I think you answered that. There's a 30-day cookie on the guest link. So long as they don't clear their browser caches, they're good for 30 days. Is that right?
That's right. And if they leave a comment, it will create an account, log them in, all that behind the scenes. So once they have an account, they don't need to worry about that access link anymore either. So either way, they're set.
Okay, Isabel Sheffield has asked, is there a way to turn a comment into a task specifically? So when you are going through the comments, you can click on it, click it, turn it into a task. Not all comments will result in the action required. So can we turn comments into tasks? Interesting idea.
The answer is no. Sort of like tasks have their own comments. There's no way to turn a specific comment into a task. So and I think part of that is you'd have like sort of two tasks on in the exact same spot. So might get tricky like on the front end as far as trying to click on an individual one if they're the exact same spot. But again, something I've not heard of before. It's something
feature request time for that one if you want to contact Andre. So you were indicating earlier, Andre, that this was like a beta version. There were some things, I can't remember what they were, where you indicated, okay, yeah, this is the next iteration of Project Huddle. How long are we out for that? Guest 402 wants to know, when is it being updated and pushed out live?
Well, I think this is a pretty good test to do it live for a bunch of people, and nothing bad happened.
Yeah, good idea. Okay.
So
tomorrow.
Yeah, right. So we will probably release a beta either late this week or early next week, and beta versions are totally stable versions, but we do a beta for about a week to like iron out any bugs. Sometimes when you do new stuff, plugin conflicts or different server configurations that we haven't tried. So we usually do a beta. Okay. And then after, usually a beta lasts about a week, and then features will be ironed out and then ready for prime time. Okay,
that's good. But it seems like nothing went wrong. The only thing that went wrong was waiting for a 200-page PDF, which doesn't seem that wrong to me. That seems about right. Okay, so Isabel Sheffield says, if we are currently using a PM tool, can we currently use Zapier to zap comment tasks in Project Huddle to a task in our PM system, or is that still coming?
So you can right now. because WordPress has, is it Zapier or Zapier? I never
I say Zapier because I'm British, but I think Zapier
that's what I say
seems to be,
too.
yeah.
So we do have like a really basic Zapier integration. So yes, you can do that right now. You can, every time a new task is added, you can add it into your, like to anything connected to Zapier. But I say it's real basic because it's only one way. You can't do it the other way. So if you update something on a task dashboard, it wouldn't update a task on Project Huddle.
Okay. Oh, well, good to know. It is possible. Bit of fiddling and working it out, but you've got a one-way push of stuff at Zapier. So there we go. Ryan, when is the task list likely to be launched? I wonder if that's the same question as we had a minute ago. It's going to be in the next version within a very short space of time.
If anyone can help beta test it, it really makes it a lot easier to release stuff faster. Usually we have quite a few people that want to beta test stuff, but the more I think helps.
Okay. How do we do that?
Yeah, good question. So if you've purchased, you can just go to your settings page and there's an updates tab. There's a little button that says get pre-release updates or get updates for pre-release versions of Project Huddle. You check that, then next time there's a beta release, it'll let you update.
Are you allowed to, depending on the license that you have, I can't remember your license structure, but are you able to install a beta version elsewhere which doesn't consume your current regular license, or maybe you don't have licensing like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay. It's a feature request in that case.
If you're going to beta test, and you're having issues, just let me know and I'll let you do it. I'm just not like a big corporate person that has all these rules.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, in which case we'll move on to the next one. Envision Plugin. Ricky Angeles says, is there a plan for such a thing, an Envision plugin?
I'm interested to know more about what they're asking.
Is Envision not a sort of kind of like a mock-up tool where you can create great big artboards of things?
I see. Maybe like they have that.
Like a sketch type thing.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I've got that wrong. I'm going to quickly go and search what Envision is. Envision, it says Google gave me Envision, but design better, faster together. Yeah, it's a great big artboard space where you plonk your designs and whatnot. Yep.
Got it. Yeah. So they were talking about like their sketch competitor, I think.
Yeah.
We don't have any plans for the Envision one. Because I'm not sure if they even have plugins we can do yet. But and somebody correct me if they do. But we have Figma is kind of like a tool I really like, and they just released plugins. So we're looking into doing like a Figma sync, just like the same as Sketch. Because Sketch right now, Sketch is only available for Mac people. It'd be nice to have something for Windows people too, or Linux people.
Yeah. Okay. Ryan Nesbitt says, could you clarify why you previously suggested using a standalone domain for Project Huddle instead of using our primary site? I think I could answer this, but I'm going to let you.
Yeah, let me just see. I put together a doc that kind of outlines it, so make sure I don't miss anything. So we get this question a lot, and there's kind of it will work on your main installation, but there's some things that you need to change to get it to work. And likely you're going to have, the big one is caching. Likely you're going to have caching on your own site, which is fine. But since Project Huddle is so dynamic, like people are adding comments sometimes by the second, you'll need to add some special exclusions to make sure that people are seeing the latest comments and whatnot, or it might not function like how you think it would just because things are being cached in the back end. So we do have people, like, the short answer is you can do it on your own site. It just takes a little more work setting it up. And then there's a couple performance concerns because, as you're connecting more sites, and each time the script loads, it sort of pings your main site. So if you have an agency-facing website, but it's also connected to all these other sites, your server might feel a little bit of extra load and slowdown because you're kind of getting more visits than you think because of the sort of all these little arms that are in all your client sites. So that's why we suggest sort of a dedicated one just to keep your main site nice and zippy. And then what I like is, you can do like this, a client experience. So you can sort of like craft a specific client portal so that shortcut I showed you, you could have, sort of like on the home page and give them instructions and things. So like it'd be like one central client dashboard that you wouldn't need to like integrate into your own site. You could sort of build from scratch. So I think those are like the main reasons we suggest it.
So if you can see in docs.projecthuddle.io,
maybe I'll just post that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Stick that in the chat. That'd be great. Thanks. Yeah. Lovely. Thank you very much. Okay. More Q&A then. On mockups, is there an option to allow or disallow that? Is there an option? Oh, sorry, let me read that again. On mockups, there is an option to check box to allow or disallow that. I think that might have been a comment which came in which was contextually important. So it was written at the exact moment, and I now don't understand what that question was. So apologies for not answering that one.
Maybe I'll just show the mockup options again.
All right, thanks.
So a question we get a lot is, when something's approved, can we make it so they can't unapprove again? Otherwise someone can approve something and unapprove something. And you do have that paper trail. You can kind of see, if somebody approved and then unapproved, you can see that. But some people want to make it final, so you could, uncheck unapprovals. So when something's approved, they can't unapprove it again. Maybe that's what they're referring to. It's a common question.
Yeah. Sorry, I believe that it feels like that was a comment that I've made into a Q&A, which was referring to something that you said or something. I don't know.
Sure.
Right. Guest 409 says, I am not getting email notifications when I add comments to the site as the admin, in brackets, agency owner. Is there something that I'm missing?
So we do get this question a lot too, because you won't get emails for your own comments. So, because I don't think that would be very useful, right? You don't need to know that you're commenting yourself. So when you do get it, when you do submit a comment, it'll go to anybody else who's, this is I'll launch this in mockups, but it's the same for websites. If I leave a new comment, I can see down here who's going to get notified.
Got it.
So I can, by default, it's the author of the project and myself. But I could add, everybody else on the site, and I can change these defaults too, obviously. But and these are the people that'll get notified.
Okay.
I think maybe that answers the question. I think
I think so.
People will install the plugin and try and test it and be like, I'm not getting emails because they're the only one on the project and they're the only one commenting. So it's we don't want to send you yourself your own stuff.
Yeah. Meredith in the chat said, she wouldn't want that anyway. And guest 551, whoever that may be, yes, it's recorded. As soon as I publish this, it will automatically generate you, an email with a link to the replay. Okay. Is there any plan to have automatic screenshots? I don't know how automatic is, but the click of a button seems to be where it's at the moment. So what do you, I wonder?
Yeah, they are automatic.
So,
anytime a comment is left, it's already taken the screenshot.
Okay, so I think that answers that question. They are entirely automatic. You've just got to notice that they've been taken and, go and hunt them down, I suppose. Essam Vanley says, in case of non-WP sites, how to manage as there is no plugin installed? Because we haven't mentioned that this isn't restricted to WordPress, is it?
Yeah, sure. Let me just show you quick. So if I create a new website, and let's say it's a Squarespace site or something. I think we did a webinar last time on Squarespace. You follow sort of a similar thing where you enter the URL, and then when you click something else, it's going to give you just a snippet of code that you just insert before the closing body tag of the site. And it provides the same functionality. So by default, you can choose sort of these project access options now. So I could allow guests, so anybody who visits the site will see it. Or I'm sorry, I can select anyone who visits the site can see it, or anyone with an access link. Or I could, make sure people need to be logged into the dashboard site. So this is maybe a highly specialized case for specific people. So if they visit this access link, it'll just prompt them to log in.
Right. There's a bit more explaining to do there, isn't there? But basically, you can put it with a snippet of JavaScript before Java code. I like that. JavaScript before the closing body tag. That's piece of cake on most platforms: Drupal, Joomla, Squarespace, whatever. You'll be able to do that with great ease. And the user permissions is a little bit more fraught with difficulty, just because it's not a WordPress plugin. But there you go.
Yeah.
Did I see a white label option? Says Meredith Simpson.
Yes. So I think she's talking about the client side plugin. So since this is installed in your client's website, if they have access to the plugins menu, it's by default, it's going to say the plugin name, Project Huddle client site. But we could change it to whatever we want. We could say WP builds feedback.
By the way, that's what everybody should name it. Like from now on, please just name them all.
Yeah, right. So now when I go back, it's going to
okay.
So it's
all right, perfect.
Feedback. Yeah, it's Nathan by Nathan, and it's on to your site.
Yeah, that's great. A nice little feature which you didn't need to put in, but you jolly well did. Well done. Just makes it look all that more professional. Now, Meredith asks the question. There must have been context to this, because she says, "And will this reduce lag?" And any sentence that begins with "and" presumably had a pre-sentence attached to it. So something about lag. I find the script causes some lag. So I don't know what she's on about. I'm sorry, Meredith. Please reach out to Andre about
reach out to me if you're having
I'm sorry about that. Did I see a white label option in there? We've just done. Right. Ricky says, we use Project Huddle for comments and reviews when developing sites. Do you see Project Huddle being used as an ongoing, simple support ticketing system for clients? Intriguing.
Yes, and you hit the nail right on the head. That's why we have this client site plugin. We really wanted to focus on after development and after build. A lot of people have maintenance or care plans. So you can keep the plugin activated indefinitely. And like I said, it's not going to show up or even load for general site visitors. But once you're logged in, you and your client can still have conversations about things. So I think it's great for like monthly care plans and things like that. Especially when you have these care plans, I think it's so important to just systemize things, so you're not just wading through emails and then figuring out you're spending too much time or have too many tasks or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's exactly where we built the plugin.
Okay, Meredith has dropped something into the chat. So what she's talking about is she's probably talking about the beta plugin, I think, because then she says this new plugin. So I presume maybe there's lag that she's encountering on the beta version. Again, I would refer, if that's all right, Meredith, sorry for not consuming too much time on that one. Chat with Andre, see if there's a specific issue you can report on that one. Yeah, and
just, you can go to the Project Huddle homepage. There's a help widget in the corner, or just support@projecthuddle.io.
Okay. This is a question that I would have asked, actually. Ricky says, can an extra status step be added? So rather than the two that you've got, is it possible to go from unresolved to progress, or in progress to resolved? In other words, can there be like a traffic light system, green, red, amber kind of thing?
Yeah. So we're working on that right now, actually. That's sort of the next iteration after this beta release.
Okay.
And the idea is we want to give flexibility to it, so it's not everybody works the same. So you'd be able to set your own statuses, like kind of a default, and then modify them on a project basis. So depending on your workflow, you can integrate.
Andre and everybody else, I'm just going to pause there for a moment to say that we are an hour into this. I'm going to keep going if Andre is capable of keeping going. But before you go anywhere, I'm just going to steal the screen for a moment, if that's all right, Andre, just to remind you that if you go over to WP Builds, look at this, is ridiculous sized font. Go over to wpbuilds.com/deals. you will be able to access not just Andre's plugin, actually, but a whole bunch of other plugins. If you just sort of scroll and keep scrolling, there's just like a permanent. I keep likening it to, it's a bit like Black Friday, but every day of the week. These people have just reached out to me and said, have some cash off our plugin. And I've said, all right. And we've put it on these pages. But right at the top, 25% off Project Huddle. If you click on it, all the codes will be automatically applied. And that that's just a way to get yourself this plugin for significantly less cash. I'm going to stay around. Let's get through all of these questions. Andre, maybe steal the screen away from me again if you click that screen button, and then
sure.
That's great. Okay, and it'll take a couple of seconds, but we should be back with Andre. Yeah, very soon. Right, let's crack on. Are you all right, Andre, for another few minutes?
Yeah, I got another 15 minutes before.
Okay, perfect. Right, let's go as quick as we can. Can the shortcode be added to their site, or does it have to be added to the main PH install? I forgot what the shortcode was called.
Yeah, it's a Project Huddle dashboard shortcode, and it has to be to the main site.
Okay.
Can't be added to the other site.
Okay, great. At the moment, it sends an email for each comment. When can we expect a version where one single email is sent after a client has completed all their comments?
Yeah, that's in the works too. So it's sort of like a batched email system. That's going to be coming with the status update in the next version. We have, in the meantime, we do have like notification controls, so you can, subscribe and unsubscribe people to like individual task notifications. But yeah, we wanted to do something, just quickly explain it. It's so you'd be able to set, how often you get emails. So every 5 minutes if there's activity, or every hour, half hour, you can kind of set that. And then in addition, you can get like daily and weekly emails of everything that's happened. It would sort of be similar to the activity page, just with the dates that are different.
Okay. How did you shade us? Sorry if it's not pronounced shade. It's spelled the way I would pronounce shade, but it might be Sade or something. I'm sorry. How did you hide Project Huddle settings and other settings from the client's admin dashboard? I think we did that one. Was that the white label thing, or have I missed it?
Yeah. So I think what he's asking is this feedback over here. So this is
sorry.
This menu, this whole menu and settings is only available for people that can manage the options of the site. So I think a lot of people don't give their clients I don't give them the ability to like change all this stuff typically.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have access to this feedback either. So if that makes sense. Okay.
Ricky says, we got some people who are really writing lots of questions. This is lovely. Can an extra state, we've done that one. It's in the works. That's the in progress resolved one. Yeah, sorry about that. Done that one. Oh, right. We've done that one as well. I just forgot to mark it as answered. Is this recorded? Yes, it's recorded. We'll send you a link an hour or so after we finished this, in about 15 minutes or 10 minutes. How does everyone deal with making a task when people are having conversations on comments? What is the best practice? Is there a way to make someone an admin and their suggestions are weighed more? So this, I suppose, is like a out of scope for the Project Huddle project. This is what's your opinion of the way it should be deployed and discussed with clients? How should they use this?
Yeah, we wanted to make it flexible. So you could do, with this task dashboard, if there's a specific project that you wanted to, and somebody has more weight, like a client, let's say, you could filter and just see their specific tasks. I think that's what they're asking, but and how it works is each comment point, has its own conversation. Each comment point is a task. So each task has its own conversation attached to it, if that makes sense.
I guess it's just like a hierarchy within the organization kind of question, isn't it? Whether or not you tell the clients, can we have one point of contact? And then you, over on your side, you just work out what the comment is going to be and then let the one person submit that comment. And in that way, I don't know, maybe educating your clients to have one point of contact might be a little bit, might be worthwhile, but hard to actually manage. But they've all got equal weight by the looks of it, if that's what you're asking. Okay. Guest 465. I will never make this mistake again. This guest thing. This is ridiculous. I'd love to know who you all are. Automatic screenshot is a hidden gem and probably needs greater visibility. Not sure if it's included in the dashboard, though. I only see the comments left. Okay. I think that's just a nice comment. Let's move on. When the project is finally approved by the client, do you have to uninstall the plugin? Or how would the commenting feature finally disappear?
Yeah, so you could just deactivate it on their site if you want it to disappear for them, or just deactivate their role. It only loads, so these settings is only going to load for the settings you have here. So if I uncheck all these things, it won't load for anybody. Yeah, I can keep the plugin activated.
Keep the plugin, right. My question related to that just occurred to me is, what if a user is deleted? Let's say somebody is fired from their company or something.
Oh, no.
Where do those comments live? Do they get deployed to another user? Do they get saved somewhere?
So I don't know if you've ever deleted a user from WordPress
you get the choice.
You get the choice, right? You can either discard everything they've done. So if it's,
so it uses the WordPress system.
Yes. So you can allocate all their content and comments to somebody else if you want.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's just an edge case, I'm sure. Yeah, is there a way to hide the name Project Huddle in the emails that go out? So does the white labeling extend to client communications via email?
Yeah. So that's there is no Project Huddle brand. Well, short story. There's no Project Huddle branding on the emails. It just says that here because that's what I named. That's the name of this site, this Project Huddle test site. If I go to like my settings general.
Yep.
So it's just going to do the Project Huddle thing, and then your email and all that stuff too. And you can actually control that under settings, emails. You can change the from name. I called it Project Huddle Client Portal, but you can call it WP Builds Awesome Feedback System. Change the reply address if you want.
Yeah.
And then that'll all be white label. So there's no mention of Project Huddle.
I asked that question and immediately you pulled up an email with your branding on it. That's like weird that you just had that ready. Super prepared. That was instant answer. Great. Could we export all comments from a project CSV?
Yeah, that's on the roadmap. We don't have something like a first party thing that we built to do that. I mean, you could do so. Project Huddle stores this stuff as a custom post types and comments. So I think there might be a couple free plugins out there that'll let you export post comments in like post meta in a CSV. You could do that, but we don't have anything like built in yet. And that is on the roadmap. It's just we have to prioritize things because we're pretty small, so we just want to make sure that we're releasing the right things at the right time.
Another white label-esque question is, can the shareable link be branded too? I don't know in what form it looks at the moment, but would it not just take on the domain that you've installed it in?
Exactly. So it would be like the shareable link here is this projecthuddle.local, right? But this would be like your site, like wpbuilds.com/website/ your client site, the project name, and then this access token. So it would be 100% branded.
Yeah, so there you go. There is, depending on what install you put it in. So something like client-dashboard.yourdomain.com or something like that.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah. What happens if the conversation is continuing on a site that moves from dev to production? Do we lose anything or everything by having a new Project Huddle project?
So you could, if you wanted to start from scratch, you could do that. But if you wanted to keep the comments, you can click this update connection details, update the URL if you want. And once you change, the caveat is you want to go to these pages and update them here too. We don't really have an automated system for this yet. But you could also do, create a new website project and just start from scratch if you wanted to like archive the old ones, because maybe they're not relevant anymore after you go live. I would think everything would be resolved, but if you wanted to keep them, you could just change the URL in these places.
Okay. Anyway, the point is there are ways around it, but at the point of clicking the button, maybe just check this video again and watch what Andre just said, or reach out to him and make sure that that is indeed what you're doing. That was from Edward Solomon. Why I was asking about the lag. Oh, yeah. So this was Meredith asking about the lag, and I couldn't help because I wasn't sure what the context was. She said it's the JS. She says the JS manually added causes decrease in performance. So she's talking about the sort of like the JS script, I presume, that you put on another website, like a Squarespace or something. So, okay.
I mean, it shouldn't, unless you're adding it like right away at the top of the page. That's why we suggest adding it before the closing body tag. And please, if you're doing that and it's still an issue, let me know.
Okay.
We do have, like, if you look at the script, it's loading like asynchronously, like at the end. So,
yeah.
And we did some speed tests too, just recently, just to show that, it's not render blocking anything on the page while it's loading, but we did make changes to it. So I guess make sure that maybe you could try doing an updated version of the script.
Yeah.
And again, if you're having issues, maybe it's something I can look at and help you resolve too.
Yeah, do check. It's at the right at the bottom of everything, should be near the bottom. So get that checked out, and maybe that'll be a simple fix for you. If the client uses their if the client uses their regular login credentials, how and when will they appear in the assignment tab? I do not find that I can assign them to a task unless I add them as a user in my dashboard site.
So as soon as they log into their own site and it identifies them in the system, they're automatically added to the project and identified in your system and everything. What you can, if you know their email address, you can add them ahead of time on your dashboard site, and add them to the project that way. If you want to do it beforehand and assign them before they visit the site, you can do that too. As long as the emails match and you have a project client role, you're good to go.
Andre, you okay for two more?
Sure.
Okay. First one is, what about A/B tested pages? How does it cope with A/B tested? I mean, don't do it on A/B tested pages would be my advice.
I mean, it depends on the system. If the URL is different in any way, it'll treat them as two different pages.
Good.
I assume A/B testing will have different URLs, but
yeah, I would have hoped
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with all of them out there.
No, perhaps not actually, because a lot of them are just sort of embedded JavaScript. So maybe not. Adam Lacey has a project called Split Hero, and I think it's just a piece of JavaScript put in. So
it is.
Maybe the same URL. So sorry to be so glib there, Isam. I didn't mean to say you shouldn't. Of course you should. It would be an ideal use case, wouldn't it? But we don't know. If the URL is different, you're good to go.
Yeah, in that case, if the URL doesn't change, you would treat it as the same page. But we have that screenshot feature, so you can see which specific version too, if you need to.
Yes. I suppose it's a caveat emptor thing. Just be a little bit mindful of looking more carefully at the screenshots that's generated. And if you've got like 50 variations on the A/B test. And finally, the very last one is saying that wouldn't it be nice basically if there was some sort of white labeled on basically there were some video tutorials which you could drop in and let the client see. Yeah,
I agree. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's definitely like high on our list. Just trying to juggle, like I'd rather like improve the product, add features in that route, just because it's like it's our forte. Like we do this stuff, we design, we build. Making videos is like tough, time consuming because I don't really know what I'm doing. So I guess maybe this is like a call for help. Like if anybody is good at making videos and wants to help us out, I reach out to me. Really appreciate that.
And then very nice last couple of comments. I mean, basically lots of people saying love it. Gotta run. Sort of they're getting out of here, but. Yeah, Meredith says explaining how to use it is a little bit of a pain in the capital A. And so other people are saying, this is a great product. I'm using it during development to keep track of the tasks. Been a Project Huddle user for a while now. This has been so helpful. So, well, that's great. Thank you. Thanks very much for taking the time to come and share with us, Andre. Really appreciate it. I'm just going to share my screen quickly one more time and illuminate the enormous I did have a plan to make this much more seamless, but it killed the webinar platform. As soon as I tried to launch that URL to you guys, the webinar platform just died. So I'm reduced to text edit on a Mac and this lovely font here. Whoa. But when you see that, go to wpbuilds.com/deals. You'll get to this page. And if you click on this, you'll get your 25% off, which is very kind of Andre Gagnon. It's going to last for about a week from today. So add 7 to 12, we get 19th of September. So that, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I think is a wrap. I'm going to stop sharing and just have a quick final wave to say thanks, Andre. I really appreciate that. I hope that wasn't too arduous. Was that all right?
No, that was great. It's really awesome, like getting these questions, and you guys ask great questions. Really, it's some stuff that I hadn't even thought of before. You know.
That's a good point. And they're real time, and they're from real people, and a lot of them, by the looks of it, are current users, and just wanted to come in and see if you had some ideas. And quite a few, clearly, right at the end, there was one I hadn't thought about using it for care plans. There was some comment about that. Fantastic product, says Sade. I'm going to say from now on. Brilliant. Right, first thing I'm going to do, oh goodness, is stop the recording. And I have now done that. When I click end webinar, you're all going to be booted out onto my deals page so that you can go and buy it right away. And there you go. Thanks, Andre. Take it easy.
Yeah, thanks a lot.